everybody. Welcome back to the Dice Tower. My name is Z Garcia.
I'm Camilla.
I'm Joy Evans.
Today we're taking a look at the expansion, the first expansion to Heat. This is Heavy Rain. Heavy Rain is going to give you a new double-sided track. It's going to give you a new vehicle, orange here, and a few new cards to add into some of the decks that come in the base game.
Yep.
We're going to go ahead and take a look at it. I'll show you some of the various parts. I'm not teaching you how to play Heat in the overview here. I'm just going to show you what comes in here. And then we'll come on back and we will tell you what we thought of it. Here we go. So let's take a look at the things that come in the expansion. You are going to get one new car, orange here, with everything that entails. You're also going to get a few more Heat cards to add to your other Heat cards. You get a few more stress cards here. So this will all just simply be added to what you've got. You've also got 4 new event cards. These are make up 1964 if you're playing with this mode. So you got 4 of those. You've got here some new cards that you can add on to your advanced upgrade cards. And they feature a new symbol as well. This symbol here called Super Cool. And what that lets you do is cool down Heat cards right from your discard pile back onto your engine block instead of them having to come from your hand. So very powerful symbol there. You're getting a lot of those with different combinations of symbol, but they all feature that new Super Cool symbol, okay? And then you've also got a few of these sponsorship cards, the one-shot cards, again, featuring that Super Cool symbol there. And that's largely it. Well, you've also got the 2 cards that let you, randomly pick where you're racing. And so you'll see here we've got 2 new boards, one double-sided one. You got Japan on this side, Mexico on the back of this. So let's move these things and take a look at the track itself. So here we go. Here's our track. We've got Japan here, and you'll notice a couple of new things are the water features here. So these spots, if you downshift in them, you are going to take an extra heat. And there's also then the chicanes are these outlined in blue. And if you're playing with the track upgrades like the weather stuff, then you put a single token there, and it will affect both of these corners, unless it specifically shows you it only affects a second. But normally, it affects both of these corners. If you're not playing with that, it's just 2 speed checks very close to each other, okay? And again, you can identify those with the blue checkered outline on the track and on the spot there. So that is the Japan side. Let's flip this over, take a look at the Mexico side. There you go. This is Mexico, and you'll see it's a normal race on this one's actually 3 laps. You have the chicane right here and one over there. You'll notice they're always the same speed, and these are literally only 1 space apart, these two, because there's two curves back to back there. And then this one doesn't feature any of that rain. That will only be on the other side. Lastly, you get a new score pad here that doesn't have any of the car colors at the top because, well, with orange now, you can, pick orange, and it wouldn't have been on the previous score pad. And that's everything you get. Couple of new features, 2 new tracks, a few new cards to shuffle in. And if you love orange, then a car that you can happily race as well. So there's a few distinct parts here that we probably want to break it down into. So let's start with, well, the main thing I think is 2 new tracks. Let's talk about them, okay? The first track is Japan, arbitrarily the first track is Japan, and it's the one that features the rain of the titular Heavy Rain from the box. It's a very tight track. It's a very tricky track. It's one that definitely takes some forward thinking, I thought. Yep. And then on the other side, you got the Mexico track, which is the longest track so far, actually, out of all of them. It's the one that has the most spaces, and it's got a couple of nice long straightaways and then a couple of tricky spots. Both tracks also feature chicanes, which are basically 2 turns very close to each other at the same speed. Yep. If you blow past both, you might be in a world of hurt. So what did you guys think of the tracks themselves?
I like how different they are. I mean, Japan has the rain on it, which, like you said, is featured here, the heavy rain, where the Mexico one does not have that. And they really feel different. You know, the Japan feels like you really have to be kind of more technical of a driver. You know, you have to really hit those chicanes. You have to hit those just right. You have to make sure you're downshifting even earlier, so you're not downshifting in the water and taking that penalty.
Right.
So you're really playing. It feels a little more technical of a driver.
Right.
Whereas the Mexico is just like all out speed.
Right.
And I like how different they are because I strongly prefer the all out speed one.
Do you
the
really?
Mexico
The Mexico
one. I really do. The Japan, I don't care for the water. I'm glad it's there.
Right.
I wouldn't mind playing it. It's just definitely not going to be one that I want to play. I want to play a racing game. I want to race through the corners. And I really like on the Mexico one how you get going really fast on one of those straightaways, and then you hit a series of corners and you have to go at speed 6, then 4, then 2 twos right in a row that are just 2 apart. And so it really has that like slow downshift, feel to it, to when then you want to come out of that 2 and you want to hit the ground running. And I really like that. So that's more my play style. I'm glad they're both there because I think that they do feel very different and bring a lot of variety.
I like the straightaway, like the Mexico one. I like just being able to hammer down and just kind of just be able to slam it down there. And that's really fun to see the numbers that are drawn on that. And then also knowing the fact that they're about to have to really downshift.
Right.
Yeah.
And a couple things. Number one, the rain affects it more than I thought it would. I'm like, we're getting the heat when you downshift. That's not a big deal. But it ends up being that.
Well, it's well placed on the track to mess with you.
Yeah.
Really good. And those 2 corners close, like you mentioned, in the normal track, you could just say, you know what, I've got enough heat to blow through this one.
Right.
But this one you can't. Those 2 back-to-back. Whether or not using the chicanes, I think those add something if you use the weather cards. But even if you're not doing that, those 2 corners close to each other, that really adds an element to the game I like a lot.
Yeah, I think both tracks are really interesting. They are very different, and I think they're both a little more technical, generally a little more challenging than some of the ones that come in the base game, or basically all the ones that come in the base game. Even the Mexico track, which lets you sort of let your hair down, you still need to be careful with that.
Yeah.
Really one nasty corner. You got to be careful with that corner. So there's that. We also got a new vehicle in here, orange. That's it.
That's all.
Yeah.
It's
orange.
It's orange. It is.
I love it. I love it. I mean, I love that color, but it's an extra vehicle.
Right. It doesn't look like red or yellow, which sounds like a dumb thing, but nope, they nailed it. It is orange and it is distinct on the board.
Yeah.
If you like orange.
That's good, right. They also have a new symbol here, this super cool symbol on the cards that you'll get, the sort of upgrade cards and your sponsorship cards, whatever. And it's a cool idea, this idea of being able to take the heat cards right from the discard
like that.
back onto the engine block there. Means they don't cycle through.
Right.
You can do fun things, especially on these new tracks, where you do something a little more risky than you would have, blow past a corner, put the heat over here, and then, hey, super cool, take it right back.
I like that a lot because that adds some mitigation that you need, because so many times you can cool down, you don't have them in your hand.
Right.
And when you need those, you don't. I like what it adds a lot.
Yeah,
right. No, I like that a lot as well, as it allows you to put that heat in there if you're blowing past a corner or something.
Right.
I only have 2. I can't quite risk it. I'm going through 3. Oh, wait, hold on, because I had this one card where it could go directly from the discard pile, because we play the drafting, back onto the block. But then that card could go back on top of my deck. So I got that 2 or 3 turns in a row just allowed my engine to cool down some, but still was playing some of those high cards.
Right.
And blowing past some corners. And so it does lead to a really interesting engine, I guess. It kind of, you can kind of build the deck a little bit and interesting synergy with the cards. So I really like the symbol.
Yeah, it's a simple idea to understand also. And I'll say that across the board here. I think everything they put in here is simple to understand. The super cool symbol, cool. The water, cool, easy. I mean, everything is just kind of very basic, Besides that, you also have a new season here if you want to play championship mode, which I think is great. And again, it's just sort of kind of more of what's in there already. This game, the original game of Heat already felt like it came with 3 expansions shoved into it anyway.
Yep.
So this feels very much like a more of the same kind of expansion. You're getting a map, another color, hey, cool, and then a little bit more of what you're used to. Nothing crazy. There's no, there's now a new way to race backwards. There's nothing crazy. They didn't they didn't try to reinvent the wheel on this one, and I'm glad for that.
Yeah.
I could see a lot of the arguments being made for, wow, that's it. That's like not a whole lot that they added, and that's fair, but I don't think I want them to change it up too much.
It preserves what the game is. I think the base game was so robust to begin with.
Yeah.
You know, it was really robust, and you want to play just a get into it quick kind of style here. Here's your starting hand. You want to go with a module, maybe customize your deck a little bit. Here's this. You're doing a whole weekend getaway with your friends and want to do a champion. It came with so much variation already.
Yes.
This just provides variety to that. And I think that's what it needed to be a first expansion so very quick off heat. You know, off the base game coming out just last year.
And that was my big fear about this overcomplicating a simple game. And I think this for the base game is just added a couple of simple things. Now, beyond the base game, it has more cards. If you go to the expansion, you know, the championship and all that. But base game experience, you got a couple of simple things. Close corners, and you got that flood. Those is like, it's quick.
Right.
Like, okay. But, but it's also, it's effective.
Yeah.
There are a couple of things that I thought were weird, and I don't know if you guys will believe me or follow me here on this one. I think one thing I would have not minded seeing is a couple of new weather tiles for when you're setting up the track with weather. There's nothing like that in here. I think they could have added a couple of new ideas there, but there aren't. Again, that's fine. I'm not sure I understand why this game has such a nice insert, considering the car. Like, considering there is space for everything but the board, really. There is space for in the base game. They already had space for 2 more cars. So, I don't understand. You know, the really, really nice insert here. I don't get it like that. Having a space for the car, having a space for the pawn. It doesn't come in there, mind you. These 2 things come in a baggie. These 2 things come in a baggie in one of these holes, and all the space, all the cards come in one paper wrapped by block.
Yeah.
I bet it's just because if they don't have a nice insert, people are going to complain. I bet that's just a reaction to
maybe
complaining, you know, and for that one person out there or 5 people out there that have really
want it like this,
or that have really deluxified, and that's what is in their base game now, and so they keep the expansions separate. But especially, I mean, I do agree with you because I don't know why you wouldn't mix them. It does fit all in the base box together.
Yes.
It would fit even if you sleeved your cards. It'd still fit in the base game all together, and the cards just mix in. There's no reason to keep them separate.
Right.
You know.
You can put the board in there. You got a little bit of box lift if you put the third double-sided board in there, but that's how I have it. It's not a big deal.
You're talking like
it's not much.
Quarter of an inch, half an inch.
Yeah,
max.
it's not much. It's fine. And then the other thing, my final sort of complaint is that the box is called Heavy Rain and has this incredibly evocative cover, and I don't really get that. It's barely rain.
It's after the rain, it seems like.
Right, it's the puddles.
You know?
Yeah.
I understand. You got to name it something. But, I didn't really get this.
Okay, so just the title itself.
Yeah, the feeling, that looks dangerous. That looks amazing. The heavy rain, it reminds me of, like, really great movie scenes of, like, the cars barely able to, stay in control. And you don't really get that feeling too much in this, the rain part anyway. But again, this is nitpicking. It's a minor thing.
It's more like deep puddles than heavy rain.
It's not a very good title.
It's not.
Yeah. It's like you want to see him slide a bit more or whatever. Yeah.
So, any other thoughts?
Nope. I think we can do final thoughts. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. Start with you.
Okay. I'm going to come in at an 8.5 on this. I think it is what I wanted from this expansion. I was very, like Joey was saying, apprehensive about this expansion because the base game isn't that old. And it came out with a lot of modules already, which I think are fantastic. I'm still exploring those. I'm still really honing in on my favorite way to play. I'm enjoying them. I don't feel like I needed more yet. But variety is always fun. It's great to have that extra board, which is really the keystone of this, right?
Yeah, I think it's
about
2 more maps. That's the main thing.
And I feel like they nailed that part of it.
Yeah.
It's hey, we want to give you a new map. Here you go. Let's throw in a couple little extras as well. A couple little cards to draft, a new symbol that's not just going to be those new cards, but it really provides an interesting way to interact with some of the other cards in your deck as well. So just gives variety to an already very robust game. You want expansions and new ways to play, you already got that in the base game. This is just kind of widening the horizons of those a little bit, and I think that that's what it was going for, and it really, really nailed it. So
Yeah.
I'm going to be an 8.5.
I'm coming in slightly below you at an 8, but I echo all your sentiments there. Yeah, this is one of those expansions that I would say you definitely don't need. That's not a knock on the expansion at all. It's just not. Oh, I need championship mode, so I'm going to pick up the expansion. Guess what? Like you said, that's in the base game.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I really want to draft my card and have a unique starting deck. That's in the base game. This is if you want more, but this is not going to change your opinion of the game. I think it's impossible.
No, yeah,
for this to change anyone's opinion of Heat. And I think a lot of expansions do that, either for the better or sometimes for the worse. But this is one of those that you don't really need. I like it quite a bit. I want it, you know what I mean? But you don't feel like you're sort of beholden to this one because it really is more. And man, it's a smooth package. It really shows up, jumps into your base game, and gets out of the way. I really like that.
You forget you have an expansion. Like,
yeah, I love that.
Do you have Heavy Rain? I don't remember. Do you have this map? Yeah. All right, then you have Heavy Rain.
Yeah,
like, that's how the
it's almost that
conversation's gonna
feeling.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where I come. Like expansions can go a couple ways. One is like game changing, fixing a game or whatever, and the other is seamless integration, which I think this nails.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can have this and not even feel like you have the expansion.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, we like this. Hey, try the rain track. Could have been in the base, all this stuff. It doesn't vary it that much, but I'm coming in at a 9 because I think this is pretty much Heat is what it is. There's a couple of little differences, but those differences could have been in the base, and we would have seen no difference in complexity.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that speaks volumes for the expansion.
There you go. So there you go, folks. Those are very high scores for Heat. Heavy Rain, and that's going to do it for us here today. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Z Garcia.
I'm Camilla.
I'm Joe Evans.
Watch out for the heavy puddles. That's really what they are, heavy puddles.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you like this review or whatever you just watched, wasn't it amazing? Check out our channel, Dice Tower. We have all kinds of things. We review games, we do top 10s, we play games live. It's all about board games, but especially the people who play them. Check out Dice Tower YouTube channel.